I've spent 25 years working in the mobile computing industry. That includes 10 years creating software for Psion Organizer PDAs and 10 years as a co-founder and executive at Symbian, the creators of the world's first successful mobile smartphone operating system. Nowadays I work as a consultant, a catalyst and a writer. I've been organising public meetings in London since March 2008 on futurist, transhumanist, singularitarian and techno-progressive topics. My hope for 2025 is that many of the present-day debates about technological possibilities will have been resolved decisively. By that time, it ought to be clear to almost everybody that technology does actually have the potential, within the relatively near future, say by the middle of this century, to make some really important fundamental breakthroughs. I'm thinking about breakthroughs such as the following: the ability to harvest solar power for all the energy needs of everybody on the planet, the ability to use nanotechnology and synthetic biology to give everybody ample food, indeed material abundance, the creation of artificial intelligence that will be significantly smarter than humans, the reversal of the aging process, allowing everybody to live indefinitely long in a state of really good health, and last but not least, the attainment of much higher levels of consciousness and connectivity. Ideally, by 2025, debates over the possibilities of these forthcoming technical solutions will be a thing of the past. Instead of lots of energy going into debates about whether these things are going to be possible and whether they are in principle desirable, instead, people will be focused on the much more practical steps of figuring out how to make these developments happen safely, well, and equitably. In this positive vision of 2025, politicians and other global leaders will be focusing on these momentous forthcoming technological transformations of the human condition, rather than the parochial, divisive and short-term issues that seem to preoccupy most of their attention at the present. My fear for 2025 is that human society will have been fractured in a horrible way between then and now, and that major divisions will have occurred. Instead of technology being used for the common good, it will have been used for the short-term benefit of a relatively small number of people, companies or governments. The resulting inequalities and distress may well trigger lots of backlashes and conflicts. These conflicts could be triggered by a terrible new crash of the financial system, or by, say, the realization that extreme weather is becoming much worse because of global warming, which is in turn due to our addiction to oil. Or it might be triggered by terrorists gaining access to weapons of mass destruction, coupled with extreme reactions from governments as a result. Collectively, we're sitting on a powder keg. To be clear, there are two kinds of bad outcomes to this fracturing, conflict and division of society. The first bad outcome is it will take most of us backwards compared to where we are today, potentially a lot backwards. So it will be bad for the near-term future. But the second bad consequence is that these changes in society will destroy the very basis for technological progress. We won't have the positive virtuous circles that make technological progress possible. That's the progress that's needed to achieve this positive vision for the future that I talked about earlier. So this divisiveness in society would be very bad for the longer term future as well. In anticipating 2025, I'm going to be talking about some historical examples of technology having major impacts on human experience. Things often worked out in ways that few people had predicted in advance. Many predictions about technological impact have turned out to be wrong because they fail to take into account the full set of conditions that govern the timing and the scale of these impacts. These conditions include things like the political and legislative environment, alliances of companies being able to work together positively, the solution of hard usability questions, and changes in the expectation and thinking, the philosophy, if you like, of ordinary people. Technology marketers have a useful phrase. They talk about technology products crossing the chasm from early stage adoption to mainstream adoption. There's often a large chasm, a gaping void between these two types of market. In my professional career, I saw this chasm in the technology sector I know best, in the transition from ordinary phones to smartphones and then to superphones. In my talk of Anticipating 2025, I'll be applying the same principle to the potential transition from ordinary humans 1.0, so to speak, via smart humans or transhumans towards superhumans or posthumans, that is, humans 2.0.